Hey guys, welcome to the Creative Arena. So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a landing page with sticky image and long item scroll with overlapping effect for free. So at the end of this tutorial, we're going to create something that looks like so. So now when you scroll, this is our landing page. When you scroll, you get to this point here. This image is going to stick here. While this item here that is pretty long is going to scroll. And when it gets to the final item, you're going to have this overlapping effect like a transition to the next item, as you can see. Now this one here is a long text. Now we're going to have the same transition effect with the overlapping, as you can see, like this. So I'm going to show you how to achieve this for free. That is, if you're using the Elementor free version, you'll be able to achieve this wonderful effect for free. Everything that is built here is with the Elementor free version, okay? And mind you, if you're also making use of the Elementor Pro version, I'm also going to show you how to do this particular feature, okay, for the benefit of those using the Elementor Pro version. And it's pretty much easier using the Elementor Pro version. So stick to the end of this video, and then you're going to learn one or two things at the end of this video. And also, if you like what you see, please remember to give this video a thumbs up, okay? And remember to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon if you're new to our channel. You can use this feature here to showcase products. As you can see, you can also use it here in a situation where you have services and you want all your services to be in a particular page with their descriptions as well. You can use this feature as well, and to spice it up, even add the anchor menu to it, so that when you click a particular service item on your menu, it takes you to that particular section where the user can scroll like this. This is an interesting feature that you can use to spice up your website. So let's dive in and get started. In Elementor Editing Canvas, I've already taken the time out to create these two containers, one called the hero and then the other call to action container. This is the hero container that contains the heading text and then the text editor and then the button, and this one as well, which is a call to action. Okay. So now between these two containers is where we're going to add our sticky image with scrolling text, scrolling widgets, scrolling whatever effect. Okay. And we're making use of the Elementor free version. As you can see here, access all pro widgets, upgrade now, and all that. So, however, if you're using the Elementor Pro version, I have you in mind as well. So just stick to the end of this video, and then you will see how you'll be able to achieve this effect more easily compared to that of the free users. Okay. Or better still, you can just go to the timeline and then select the timeline for Elementor Pro users, and then you can go ahead and watch it. Okay. So now the first thing we're going to do here is I'm just going to come over here right above here. I'm going to select this container here and select the Flexbox container. Then I'll select this widget here. Okay. And then I'll come over here, set the content width to full width. And then for the minimal height, I'm going to set the minimal height to VH 100 like this. Okay. So now the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm just going to come over to the style option and then set the background color here to black. Okay. And then I'm going to go to the advanced settings, make sure I set this to padding 0 and then margin 0. Come back to the layout and make sure the gap here is set to 0 as well. Then I'm going to click on this plus icon here and select the container widget. Now this widget here, I'm going to, set the content width to full width, and then I'm going to duplicate the container widget. Okay, so I'm just going to call this one here first, and then for this one here, I'm going to call this left, and then call this one right for reference purposes. Okay, so now what I'm going to do here is on the left container here, you just need to make sure that each of these containers are set to width 50%. So set it to 50%, and then for the right container, come over here and set the width to 50% also, so they are equal. Okay, so the next thing I'll do here is for the left container here, I'm just going to come over here and then select the image widget. Okay, and then go to my gallery and select an image. Okay, so now I'm just going to select this image here. Okay, so now the next thing I'll do here is set the image resolution to full. Then come over here to the style option. For the width, I'm going to set the width to 100%. And then for the mask width, I'll set it to 100% as well. For the height, I'm going to change it to VH and then give it a value of 100. Now you can see that the image is distorted. Okay, not to worry about that. To fix it, you come over to the object fit and set it to cover. Now you see the image is facing the wrong direction. That is facing the left direction. We want it to face the other direction. So to do that, we're going to come over to the advanced settings. Now, if you can use your Photoshop to change the position of your image, however, or you have an image that is not like what we have here, but for the purpose of this tutorial, I just want to show you in case you have an image that looks like so. Okay, come over to the transform and then come here to where I have the horizontal flip, and then you just flip it. So now it now looks like the image is facing whatever content we have here, which is great. Okay. So now the next thing we're going to do here is I'm just going to come over to this container here, this right container here, and then I'm going to add some items to it. First off, I'll go to the advanced settings for the right container. For the padding, I'm just going to give it a padding of 50 pixel all around. Okay, then I'm going to come over here to the heading widget here, and then I'll select a heading widget. For the text here, I'm just going to call it natural beauty. Then I'll go to the style option and then come over to the text color, set the color to white. Then for the font size, I am just gonna set it to REM and give it a value of 2 REM, or let's increase it a little bit, 2.3 REM. Okay, so now that we've done that, I'm just gonna come over here to add element and then add a text editor right below it. This is just a basic design. You can have whatever you want here. Okay, and then for the color, set it to white. We can increase the text here. Can increase the text length. Okay, so we'll have something like that. So the next thing I'm going to do here is to add varieties of other content here. Okay, so I just come over here and select the icon widget, the icon box rather, just drop it here, and then so we now have something like so. As you can see, this looks beautiful. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do here is just going to duplicate this icon box here multiple times. We're going to duplicate it, and duplicate it, and duplicate it, depending on how much of it you want on your site. So now you can see it is long. You can see it's quite much. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do here is I'm just going to come over here on this right container here. I'm going to come over to add element and then search for the HTML widget. Then I'm going to select it. Now you can see that the HTML widget is not the last item here. So for this widget here, I'm just going to come over here and write some few lines of code. So the first thing I'll write here is this style, and then I'll close it, and then we'll now have a space here. So within it, I'm going to write something like this dot img sticky, and then add this curly brace here. Okay, and then between it, the space here, and the first thing I'll write here, I'll write position colon, and then I'm going to say sticky. Then I'm going to come over here again. I'm going to write position, and then I'm going to write WebKit sticky like this. Then I'm going to come down here, top colon, and then give it a value of 0. Okay, so now we've done this. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy this class here, and then I'm going to come over here to this image here, and then come over to the advanced settings and come down to where we have the class, and then I'm going to add this here to the class. Okay, so now when we come over here, I'll scroll down, you're going to see we now have this sticky effect here like this with the scrolling. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do here, now that we've done this for this, I'm just going to come over here and then toggle this and toggle this, and then I'm going to duplicate this first container here. I'm going to duplicate it. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to rename this one to second, and then exchange this position here, take the right to the top, and then we'll now have the right first and then the left second. So we'll now have something like this, as you can see. So now if you continue scrolling, take for instance, you come down here, you continue scrolling, you're going to have this like this. Okay, so now we have our sticky effect with scrolling items here. So I'm going to pause this video while I kind of add variation to our scrolling items here, so you can know that you can add variations, multiple variations to your scrolling items. Okay, so but before I do that, remember this image here, we went to the advanced settings and then we now did transform, which is flip. Now this time around we're going to flip it back. Okay, come over here and then select another image. I kind of have, okay, you can see, select this image here like this, and then we'll now have it looking great. Okay, so now I'm going to pause this video while I change the content here and then duplicate it multiple times as well. Okay, all right, so I've taken the time out to add other containers. So as you can see, we now have first, second, third, and fourth container. So now this is what happens when we scroll. Now when we scroll, we get to this point here, we start having this scrolling effect with different widgets here. We come over here, we now have this here, as you can see, with this text scrolling effect here. We'll come over here, we'll have this with the sticky image here and the scrolling effect with different items and widgets here. As you can see, there's an image here, there's this icon widget, and then more images, and then you come over here, you can see these are all free widgets we are using. Image here, and then we can see this is the image carousel. Yeah, you can also add it there. as you can see. Okay, and then you scroll down and you get like this. Okay, so now we now have multiple sections. So the next thing now I'm going to show you how to do is when you want to add the overlapping effect to finalize the whole beauty of this page. So to do so, all we just need to do is to first of all come over here to the first container here. Then we'll come over to the left side. This one, the side containing the image. Always remember that the side containing the image, you go to the advanced settings, come over to the margin. Now you're going to change the unit here to custom here, and then on link this to the bottom, you're going to give it the value of 100 minus 100 VH. And then you're going to copy this out. Come over to this one here, close, toggle down the first container, then come over to the second container. And then we'll come down here to where we have the one containing the image, which is the left. This here, so we'll come over to the container, go to the advanced settings and do the same thing. Come over here, unlink this, come over to the unit and then set it to custom unit. And to the bottom, you give it minus 100 VH. Now you're going to do the same for the third container. And then we're going to come over here to the one carrying the images, which is the left here. So we'll come over to the container, go to the advanced settings, set this to custom, and then unlink this to the bottom, give it the value of minus 100 VH. Then finally, we'll come over to the fourth container. So to the fourth container, if you want that sliding effect to take effect on the fourth container, you can do it. If you don't, you just leave it as it is. So we're going to try it in two ways to see which one is better for us. So I'll show you how you're going to do it. So far we've added all this. Now let's go back to the top and then let's scroll and see what we've done here. Okay, so now we're going to come over here. When we scroll down, we can see here. Come over here, we scroll, we get to this point. You can see the overlapping effect we're talking about. You continue scrolling, you have your text scrolling, and then you now have this overlapping effect as well. Here you can see. And then you have your overlapping effect here. So now for this final container, we didn't add that overlapping effect here. So now when we scroll, we get to the point, have our gallery here, rather image carousel. So we'll now scroll, and then we'll get you, as you can see now, there is no overlapping effect for this last container here. I will now have this here. So if you want to add the overlapping effect here as well, all you just need to do is to come over here and then to the fourth container. Remember, we'll come over to the left container, which is carrying the image, and then go over to the advanced settings, come over here to the margin and then set it to custom. Unlink this to the bottom. We're going to add this minus 100 VH, and then we're going to click on publish. Now let's view our changes on live web page. Okay, so now this is what we've built here. Okay, so when we scroll, we now have this effect here, and then the overlapping effect, as you can see, and then we'll have the overlapping effect as well, as you can see, and then the overlapping effect. And then for the final one, you scroll, and then this here is a carousel, and then you scroll, you now have your overlapping effect taking place here, as you can see, like this. Now, for those of us that are making use of the Elementor Pro, I'm going to show you how to achieve this effect without the use of any line of CSS code and easily. So I've been able to replicate exactly what we did when we were making use of the free version. So without our code, this is what we'll have here. Okay, it doesn't look nice. So now we're going to use the Elementor native widget functionalities to achieve the same effect without any line of CSS code. So to do so, the first thing we're going to do here, I'll come over to this first container here, then come over to the left container, which is housing the image. Now for the image widget, I'm going to go to the advanced settings, come down to where we'll have the motion effect. Then I'm going to come over to this sticky. Now this sticky effect is a pro effect. You cannot find this sticky effect if you're using the Elementor free version. And that is why we're able to use CSS code to achieve it. Okay, so now I'm going to come over here and select it to the top. Then I'm going to come over here and toggle this to yes. Now when you toggle this to yes, I'm going to show you the result you're going to get. Now this is the result you're going to get. So now when you scroll, you're going to have your long scroll like this, or this item here scrolling, and then you can have it like that, as you can see. So now there is no overlapping effect. However, if you want to create the overlapping effect we achieve in the Elementor free version here, to do so, all you just need to do is to come back here. First of all, come over to this first container here, and then go to the advanced settings and give it a z index value of 1. Then come over to the second container, advanced settings, and give it a z index value of 2. Then for the third, you're going to do the same, give it a z index value of 3. And then for the fourth, you give it a z index value, of 4. And then for this final call to action container, remember we added that overlapping effect as well. So we're going to give that container the z index value of 5. Now we're going to go back to our first container, come over here to the image. Now for the image, make sure you come over here and then you go to the motion effect and you set this to stick it to the top, and then come over here for the stay in column. You're going to set it to toggle it to no. Okay, so there is no stay in column. You don't toggle the stay in column to yes. Okay, so now when you've done that, the next thing you can do here, you can see it here. Let's just come over here, and then when we scroll, you can see we now have this effect, as you can see. So now I'm going to come over here to the second item, the second container. Come over to the left, which contains the image, and then we're going to do the same thing. Come over to the advanced settings, come over to the motion effects. For the sticky, we're going to set it to the top, and make sure we do not set this stay in column option. Okay, so now when we scroll, we're going to have this effect here, and you can see. Now the reason this is be able to overlap, it is because of the z index we added, okay, to the various parent container, which you remember we did that. So now for this next one, I'm going to do the same. Come over to the image, and then come over to the motion, and then set it to sticky to the top, and that is it. And then we'll come over here, you now have this wonderful effect. So you can see if you're using the Elementor Pro, this is one of the advantages of the Elementor Pro. Is see how easy we are able to achieve this without using any line of CSS code or manipulating pretty nothing. Just come over here, sticky, and then we are good to go. So now you now have this effect like this, and you can see you now have it. So now, so what we'll do, let's come over here and publish it so we can see it on our live page. Okay, now let's preview. So when we scroll, we now have this, as you can see, this long scroll with the overlapping effect. Scroll here, and then the overlapping effect like this. And then finally, we now have this here. Okay, so you've been able to see how we're able to achieve this wonderful effect using the Elementor free version and the Elementor Pro version. So if you're using both, depending on which one you're using, you can always achieve this wonderful effect. Okay, so that's pretty much it about this tutorial. So if you've learned something for this tutorial, please remember to give this video a thumbs up. And if you're new to our channel, remember to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you get notified first when I drop a new video. But until then, see you in our next video. Bye-bye.